And Eric Jasper, Stacia Santa Maria, and 1979 ACR. Good morning, y'all. It's a test, y'all. It's a test of KJ and the Rays channel here. This is only a test. As many of y'all probably figured out, and if you don't know, I'll share it with you. Today, they're going to have this big, huge test over everybody's cell phones, their TVs, their radios. It's all for those, natural disasters and things of that sort. Hello, Jennifer Cheney, Beach Lady, Christina Hill. Good morning. So, yes, there's going to be a test. And unless you have your phone on airplane mode, which, by the way, y'all, I have a little rebellious streak in me. I think I'll turn my phone off today around that time. I don't listen to radio very often. I do like music, but I don't listen to the radio, and I don't watch much television either, so I don't have to hear it. But let's get back to the natural disasters. Earthquakes, floods, space rocks coming out of the space might hit the earth. Anything. Foreign invasion. Let's see what else we could come up with. Some kind of nuclear war. I guess I could continue to go down this laundry list. Just total and complete chaos. I'll tell you what. Natural disaster. I'll tell you what the biggest natural disaster to me is. Y'all, I'm just going to say it. The family. The families of this world are falling apart, y'all. We see it before our eyes each and every day. Good morning, Bonnie Baker, Sam Willow. Aliens, says Sam Willow. Yeah. Them little green men are going to come right out here in the front yard here. They're going to land in the front yard. They're going to say, we come in peace, and OKJ's going to get out the double barrel. Not that I would shoot them. But I'll tell you one dang thing, that'd scare the hell out of me. I ain't gonna kid y'all. I don't care how much the media tries to get us introduced to this idea about aliens and stuff. I'll tell you what, that'd be some scary stuff. Hi, Donna Donald. Hi, Peg Gilkerson. Hi, JC. For those who need a secret phone for safety, turn the phone all the way, not silent or airplane. If you know someone who has a safety phone, let them know, says JC. All the way off, says JC. If it's that bad, will we have time to look at a phone, says Eric Jasper. Well, Eric, there are many, many, many people out here. I mean, I'm sitting here on one right now, right? I can go down the road and see something beautiful over in some park or something. Some beautiful waterfall or something, and you see these young people, they're sitting there in front of this majesty of beauty, and they got their phone right up to their face. Or how about the people that, of all ages, want to go see a concert? They want to go see their favorite star sing or perform or whatever, and all they're doing the whole time is holding the damn camera up. They're not actually watching what they went there for. They're trying to get it on video. Olive Heatley says, aliens ain't going to suck the last of my brain cells out. Good morning, Grammy B. So I want to get back to this because I put myself together this morning. And it really, y'all, we've heard it over and over again, the breakdown of family. I confess there's some toxicity in my extended family. So I'm not here to go off and just act like I'm immune from it, because I've had my issues as well. I think we've all, at some point in our life, had issues with family members. There might be a couple of people on here that don't have anyone, and trust you me, it's a tough row to hoe when OKJ's trying to deal with I guess the results of my mother passing and how that has really devastated my extended family. Olive says we had that warning on phone last year. I could hardly hear it. I think, Olive, they were saying that this is supposed to happen every 3 years, and then they say October 11th and 19th. If you sign up for this thing and you're in an earthquake area, then you'll get another one then. Well, they need to put one on the phone to remind everyone that without family, and family doesn't necessarily have to be blood, y'all, but what I'm trying to get at here is it's gotten really, really bad, y'all. It just has. If you don't have an issue with your family now and then, you don't live in reality, says Jill Schneider. Right? Well, let me just give you an example. I'll take something out of the news. I usually don't get a little bit of my discipline on Wednesdays, but I'm trying to prove a point here. And it's stuff that we have talked about. So you'll see where I'm going with this. The son of a man accused of kidnapping 9-year-old Charlotte Sena disavowed his father in a profane rant, saying the family wants nothing to do with him and shouting that he couldn't give a F if he dropped dead. Craig Ross Jr.'s adult son, who's identified as Joshua, lashed out on Tuesday as he was spotted at his father's home in upstate Porter Corners. This Joshua says he's in jail. We want nothing to do with him. I couldn't give a F if the dude dropped dead tomorrow. I could care less, he told a reporter shooting the video. He's disgusting. He's gross. He should die, Joshua added from inside the house in a testy exchange with a reporter who wanted him to come outside and address the camera directly. I couldn't care less, Joshua added about his dad as he asked to be left alone. Other reporters also were at the scene when the man walked through the front door and ranted about his dad from behind a screen. Yeah, he's my father, but why do I have to deal with this shit? He shouted. Everyone is asking me all this. I don't know anything. I hate him and hope he dies in prison. Okay? This is a young man, someone's son who absolutely needs to be in prison. Don't get me wrong. I saw a picture that was attached to this article. At one time, he was a football player in high school. His father and mother are standing on either side of him. He looks so happy. Then I look at the mobile home that his father was living in, and the question is if this son of his has nothing to do with him, what's he doing over there? He's probably very devastated. To say that he would like to see his father dead, and y'all, this man, when they busted down the door or whatever they did to get that little girl out of there, he was in his underwear. He'd had investigations on him in the past. There was some rumor out there that he had messed with a 12-year-old years ago or something. But this goes back then to that picture of this young man in a football uniform and his mother and father on either side, and they're all smiling. And it couldn't be much different than most families that are together during a sporting event. I challenge you to go and look into that boy's eyes in that picture, how happy he looked. And here he is saying he's gross, his father's gross, disgusting, and all this stuff. And it hurts me so bad. It really does, because whenever I see a young man, I think of my own sons and what these children who are growing into adults have to deal with. I mean, you look at every single case that we've talked about over the last few years. The children always seem to suffer most definitely in murder. But all the children that's related to these criminal cases, it hurts me so bad that they have to deal with this. So that's a son, y'all. That's a son of a man who's fixing to go down for doing something terribly, awfully, pervertedly. It's awful. You got to ask yourself. Well, I got to ask myself, and I did. What happened? Is the man and his wife, they must have divorced or split up. The man obviously has got serious issues. He's living in a trailer behind his own mother's house. Where does this young man live? Does he live with his mother? And you can almost feel the pain when he says stuff like he's in jail. I guess he's talking about his family, his mother. Maybe he's got a sibling or something. We want nothing to do with him. I could give a F if the dude dropped dead tomorrow. I could care less. It hurts, y'all. It hurts. So that's a son. Well, what about a daughter? Huh? What about a daughter? Newly obtained police reports outline how some of Ruby Frank's children and family members were able to access her home after police served a warrant and broke down the front door of the home. According to the police report, Ruby's husband, Kevin, who admitted he hadn't been at the home for more than a year, wanted to file charges against his own daughter, who went into the home and took some of the property. A report obtained by 2 News shows Springville police officers back at Ruby Frank's home on August 31st, the day after they executed a warrant at the property. The eldest sister, Sherry, had gone to the home to gather clothing and personal items for her 2 sisters. A DCFS caseworker was also at the home, gathering items for the 2 other children who were in the state's custodies. The caseworker informed police they believe Kevin Frank might be at home and that he may not be cooperative, which is why they requested police assistance. When police arrived, the caseworker, Sherry, and other family members were already in the home. 2 News obtained a 3rd police report from Springville Police outlining a phone call from Kevin Frank, Frankie or Frank, y'all, Ruby's husband, reporting a burglary, there you go, on September 1st, the day after Ruby and Jody were arrested. Kevin allegedly reported that electronic items, specifically his electronic journals, were missing. He told officers he believed his oldest daughter, Sherry, is responsible due to a statement she made in court day. The officer told Kevin the front door had been broken in after a search warrant was served days prior and not broken by his oldest daughter. Kevin stated that Sherry is not allowed in the home and that he believes she entered unlawfully and he wants her charged with burglary. Kevin states that he does not want any of the children mentioned in the home at this time. I again explained that they needed to get essential items of theirs that were in the home, which he did not seem to think was relevant. The report mentions that Sherry brought the items to the Springville Police Department and they were given to Kevin a short time later. Among the items were 3 tablets, 3 cell phones, 3 camera GoPros, a stack of written journals, and 3 passports for Kevin, Ruby, and another one of their children. The complainant was informed that we would not be charging his daughter with anything, as her intent was not to deprive him of any of the items. She had previously been allowed in the home, and he had not been in the home, admittedly, for 13 months. The officer said that he explained to Kevin over the phone that due to the circumstances surrounding the incident, we would not be filing charges against Sherry, and that would be considered a civil issue due to her intent not being to deprive him of the items. Kevin advised he was going to sue the police department. Kevin was displeased with this answer and advised that we would be hearing from his attorney. So, 2 News had an interview scheduled with Kevin's attorney, but it was canceled due to the current state of the juvenile court case. And Kester, which is Kevin's attorney, shared a statement regarding these reports of the father wanting to arrest his daughter. Kevin didn't do either. He and Sherry are working together on bygones and resuming a loving and healthy father-daughter relationship. Kevin is still trying to understand and correct the upside-down world that was dealt him. It's a lot to deal with all at once. And by the way, in this report, Sky Lazaro, which is Corey Richins' attorney, a criminal defense attorney not involved in this Ruby Frank and Jody Hillebrand case, told KUTV2 News the police reports are revealing. Oh yeah, Sky Lazaro, so is your client Corey Richins' freaking stupid ass letter. Sky says, I think it gave us some insight into the family dynamic more than anything. It really seemed to outline that there probably was some disconnect with this family. Lazaro also said the information in the reports tends to maybe lend some credibility that there was probably or potentially some problems there. And I believe there was some problems there. You've got two school of thought on Sherry here taking these specific items. Was she doing this to help her family so that, I mean, the police had already been there. They'd already busted the door down. They already got what they were going to get out of there. Well, she goes in there to take that stuff. Was she trying to protect her father? Obviously, he didn't feel the same way about Sherry. I'll tell you what, this man's ass was probably fuckering. Because she had a hold of things of his journals and all of this stuff, which probably had information in them showing he's just as guilty as his damn wife Ruby. You know, that's just a hypothesis, y'all. She brings them back. What did Sherry? Maybe she made a copy of them. Who knows? But my point in that, all of this, is you got a son who, his father has been arrested for kidnapping this little 9-year-old girl. He wishes his father was dead. And now you've got a father wanting to arrest his daughter for simply getting things out of the house that she wasn't. Obviously, she brought it to the police station, so she must have thought, dang, I got this stuff for whatever reason, whatever my reasoning was, and I better bring it to the police station. Folks, she would have never brought those things to the police station if she was going to hold on to them because her father was not going to have her arrested. She brought them to that. Doesn't this sound eerily similar to Charles having to bring Lori's purse to her and all this? I mean, what I'm saying is that these families in these criminal cases, it's just a breakdown. I mean, you can go down this line of thinking like, you know, these people, they thought they were, this family, this Ruby Frankie's family, 8 passengers family was so close and tight-knit. And yet you have the father who just wants to tell everybody that, well, I was going through this program of Jody Hillebrand's with my wife, and she said we needed to stay away from each other. Well, didn't that give him an excuse to get away from his responsibility as a father to these children? Sure gave Ruby an excuse to go off and do the things she was doing. Good morning, Ramona Fisley. Good morning, Grammy B. Grammy B says, isn't she the one who seems to be trying to deal in reality? Poor girl. Yes, this Sherry. Why would she have gotten those things out of the house, y'all? What was her reasoning for that? Was it to hold on to family privacy? Or was it to blow her own father out of the water eventually? Because, you know, how can that line up that Kevin Frankie there wants to have his daughter arrested, and at the same time his attorney comes out with a statement saying, oh, they're working it out. Let bygones be bygones. This is, you know, Kevin's the victim here. You know, his world's been turned upside down. Well, which is it? Is Kevin wanting his daughter arrested? Or is Kevin wanting to do bygones be bygones? So we're going to all of us. If our phones are turned on, if our televisions are on, if our radios are on, we're going to get this noise or vibration. It's going to say, this is only a test. Everybody's supposed to get it. Who's got a cell phone or radio or TV, right? And this is to help with, in case an emergency, everybody can get prepared or whatever. Freaking y'all, the world. Families are falling apart left and right. That is the biggest emergency in this world right now, in my view. I do wonder if the daughter's trying to keep her siblings from going to their dad, knowing more than law enforcement does about the situation. Great point, Sam Willow. I thought the same thing. Why would she even bother taking her dad's things? Olive says, not defending Kevin, but if Jody rules are broken, she presses charges and slanders the men, so I'm not sure about him staying away. Well, I'll tell you what, Olive, there's a such thing as what Adam Steed did. Adam Steed wasn't going to put up with the shit of Jody Hillebrand. What did he do? He went to an attorney, and he got her license suspended years ago. The damage had been done, but you can get... Kevin could have went to see an attorney at any time. Anytime. And it would have been the best thing for him to do if he, in fact, wanted to get back with his family. Because then that would shake Ruby into thinking, damn, he's seeing an attorney. A light is being shown on this. It's because Kevin didn't do anything that the toxicity and all of this stuff kept going on and on and on. Sometimes you've got to bring in an outside legal thing going on there so that people will know that you're serious. If he was so serious about keeping his family together by staying away, and in his mind, he knew that his wife, Ruby, really was going to listen to Jody, and he better do what Jody says. If he was willing to do that, he surely could have been willing to straighten up a little bit and say, you know what, I need to go see an attorney about this. I need to go see an attorney about this. But obviously, there was that therapeutic excuse. I'm sure Kevin thought, well, Ruby can't say I abandoned the kids because it was her and Jody that put me in this program for therapy. So I've got that backstop. I don't have to be a father right now. I don't have to do any. I've got to work on myself. Well, I'll tell you what, they were working on their family for years, exploiting them for money. Eric Jasper says, yes, he should have, especially with some therapist telling him he needed to abandon his family unless he was looking for an easy way out. Just didn't anticipate this all happening, says Eric. No, and no one ever does, Eric. Good point. Grammy B says there's so many secrets in the LDS society. It's deep and rooted and obvious to me. Well, I'll tell you what. That's a good point that you bring up there, Grammy B, because, you know, I just have a certain feeling about certain things. And, you know, it's my understanding, correct me if I'm wrong, if you are in this religion, you've got to really you've got these expectations, obedience, these expectations and things where it's supposed to make you basically, I don't know, holier than thou. You're supposed to really not do anything wrong and everything. That's a lofty goal, y'all. To be sinless and all this and that. So you've got all these things you've got to do as a member of this church. And when a couple goes to a referral from an LDS bishop to a therapist, it looks like something's wrong there. They're not supposed to be wrong. Everything, if you're doing everything you're supposed to do in that religion, you're not supposed to have any problems. So two things can happen. One, this gives these people a way out of their marriage and stay in good standing with their church. Or it could possibly help them to come back together. Either way it goes, it shows the humanity and it shows the weakness and it shows that all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. Everyone, no one's better than anybody else. Sam Willis says, abandoning your children is never therapeutic for the kids. Jenny Benny says he didn't do anything. He couldn't even see the kids. I think I'd be getting an attorney and at least seeking child custody of some sort. Well, you look at the structure of how they, the man's over the wife and all this and all of that. You would have to have some kind of therapeutic excuse or a legal excuse in order to pass the muster on why you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing in the church, right? So I would say there are several different veins or pathways that these people that are held to such high standard, they got to act a certain way, be a certain way, how they can absolutely get a breather like Tim Ballard, Tim Ballard wants a breather. Tim Ballard wants to be a man in skinny jeans. Tim Ballard wants to be sexual with someone other than his wife. So what's he do? He blankets it. I'm saving the kids. There's always got to be a valid reason, right? Well, there are valid reasons out here in the world. It's just valid reasons for what? Things that should never even be valid. Does that make sense? You got the thing you want to do, right? You want to get away from your wife and 8 kids. You want to go and have sex with other women or sexually harass other women or whatever he did. You want to do that. Well, you have to have a reason to tell everybody. You can't tell them, I just want to go over here and play Rambo and have sex with these women. I want to put a towel up in the freaking damn shower there. I don't know how that happens, y'all. I mean, when you think of there's the shower rod, or it could be like a glass partition there. How do you go crossways there with a towel? How do you do that? Anyway, I'm getting off topic. What I'm saying is that you want to get away with something in that religion, you've got to have a reason to do it. I mean, did anybody even question Tim Ballard and what his techniques were on this couples ruse and everything? Because, y'all, this isn't just news that everyone's finding out about. There's a lot of people, I mean, my goodness, the organization that he founded asked him to leave because of these allegations. They've known for a long time. Did this not get back to the higher-ups in Tim Ballard's religion there? And I guess the question is, some people are saying, well, is he excommunicated? Is he not? Is he in good standing or this or that? Why ain't he had any issues a while back? Why is it just now coming out now? I heard he had them oral during the preliminary. Are you kidding me? Donna Donald. Are you serious? Are you just jiving me? Oh, my Lord. Preliminary training. What? G.I. Jane? Preliminary. Hey, honey. Come on over here. What would you do to save the kids, honey? Y'all, that's sick. That is so sick. Grooming, says Donna Donald. Yeah. Definitely. Y'all, the family structure, it's, and hey, let me just say this. There are all kinds of families out here in the world. All different types, varieties. Some are not even blood related. They're families. It's just a very, very complex dynamic, but a family's a family. And, some people even believe that they're alone. I'm my own family, right? Or my family is my relationship with my God and myself. That's my family. Everyone has their own definition of what family is to them. But y'all, the breakdown of the family through all these crimes and knowing how many times have we said that when these families get broke up and devastated, they just It's like nobody was thinking about that at all. They weren't thinking about how this would hurt the children or hurt other family members. Sex addiction is becoming a new epidemic, says Sam Willow. Well, I'll tell you, Sam Willow, there is an epidemic that's been on us from the get-go since the beginning of time. It's just pure evil and sin. And I say this because I am a sinner saved by grace. Don't get me wrong. I've done some bad things. But what I'm saying is it just breaks everything. It destroys all the goodness of a family. I cannot stop thinking and visualizing that picture of that young man in the football uniform, and his dad's on one side of him, the one that's arrested for doing what he did, and he needs to go down, and the mother on the other side of him, and he's just grinning from ear to ear. That young man, he looks so happy. And to go from that, I don't know if that was an act. Maybe that was what they showed people. Maybe behind the scenes it was worse. Because I'm going to tell you what, for a man to take a 9-year-old girl off a freaking park trail and hide her in a cupboard and do a ransom and all this, and when they go over there, he's in his underwear. The wife ain't there, so she must be out of the picture too. The destruction. And I can't help but think about what was that young man doing there at his dad's house. If he hates his dad so much, if his dad's a piece of shit, his dad's awful, and all that, what is he doing over there? Could he have been... He heard about it and went over there to see what was going on. It's sad. It's hurtful. And then, of course, some of y'all are following Ruby Frankie's family and Kevin's family there. And Sherry. Could you imagine your own parent wanting to have you arrested? I could understand if it was something that you were doing to harm someone. If say it was domestic abuse, or you bucked up to your family member and got in a fist fight with them and they had to call the police on you or something. All she was doing was gathering together stuff. And it seems to me that Kevin Frankie, it freaked his ass out that she had a hold of his personal journals, his personal notes. And I wonder if Sherry's got any of that copied down just for protection. Who knows? Maybe she wants custody of the children. These are just theories here. She doesn't want Kevin, her father, to get custody of the kids because she knows that he was going along with Ruby, doing everything with Ruby. Eric Jasper says, I think that he was lashing out, this young man whose father was arrested for kidnapping this little girl. People nowadays are vicious to people like this guy and his family. So he's probably wanting to distance himself, make it known how he felt now. Right. I didn't think about that, Eric. Good point. It's sad that he's even being put in that position, right? Then you add on top of it, y'all know how I am about media influence and media and all that. That they're trying to get him to speak to them and stuff, and he's in this devastating moment. Just a young man, and where's this going to send him down the road? Is he going to be a better adult man because of what his father did, or is he going to always walk around with this chip on his shoulder that someone else put there, and this devastating traumatic experience of having to deal with the fact that your father is a piece of crap? People don't get punished for wrongdoing as much anymore. It's a freak for all anymore, says Madam August Butterfly. I guess if OKJ could send a message through via radio or text or television to everyone in the world. I think many of y'all would probably have a better answer on what to put in that signal. But I just think that, if we could just stop to really see what's going on around us in our communities and in our families. Do what we can to make amends. I got to do what I can to make amends with situations. Y'all, I'm hurt. I'm hurt over some extended family members and what they've done. But I also know that's tied to my mother's death. And I'm very hurt over that. I'm going through grief about all that. So, I've got to be willing to try to make some peace with my family. It would be really easy for me because it's Wayne and I and my boys. We all get along great, except for me and my eldest son. We've had some serious estrangement, y'all, and some of y'all have been curious about that. There's nothing I can do, y'all. I'm not going to go into specificity about it. There's nothing I can do to bring me and my eldest son back together. Nothing. Except leave it in God's hands. Because I've done everything else. I've thrown money at it. I've wanted to go in therapy about it. Wanted to do whatever I could do. Whatever needed to be done. Whatever position that I could take. But there was one position I wouldn't take, and that is not being honest. I had to get honest. So me and my eldest son are estranged, y'all. And it's not going to ever get back to anything healthy and productive unless he does whatever he needs to do. And I think of him every day, and I think of every time I see all this on, going on in the world and all this, it just takes me back to if only I could get this right with my own family. I've done the best I know how to do in raising my sons. I've made several mistakes, and I've been willing to admit those mistakes. But I'm living in the here and now, and I cannot just surrender. I cannot surrender by being dishonest. That's how I would be able to surrender, is to be dishonest and not see things clearly. And because I see things clearly and I am trying to be honest about the estrangement with me and my eldest son, I've had to accept that there's nothing I can do about it. If I gave him everything he asked, if I did everything he wanted me to do, it wouldn't mend the relationship. It would just be a constant roller coaster of hurt and pain and pain and hurt. My brother has a daughter who is estranged, and he has done everything he can to heal that relationship. She doesn't want to fix it, says Grammy B. I can't control other people, Grammy B. I wouldn't want to control my family. I wouldn't want to do any of that. All I would want is it to be natural. Something natural and good, but it has ended up becoming, y'all, a natural disaster. And I'm here to say, if I could emit a signal to the world, it would be that we can only do what we can do. Love, prayer, acceptance, breathe in, breathe out, have a little peace of mind. The good Lord helps you up and gives you that acceptance in your heart and mind, says Eric Jasper. I would love to look at all of y'all and say that my family, my immediate family, was doing just great. It is with my husband and my two other sons, but without my eldest son, my immediate family is in a real bad place. I'm doing my best to continue to acknowledge that it's not where it needs to be and there's nothing I can do about it. And when I say it's not where it needs to be, it's not what I think. It's not what I think it should be. It's what I feel is in my heart that God wants for us. And, some people are like, well, man, if you're gauging that on what God wants for you, that's an awful high standard. No, it's not. It's a natural, beautiful, loving place. It's simplistic and real. I think a lot of people think that, if you have to be, obedience to God's standards about how you're supposed to love and do all these things, if you're reaching for that, you're never going to meet it in this life, first of all, but you can strive to do it, and that it'll be so hard. Well, of course it would be hard. Of course it would be hard, because we've got everything in the freaking world coming at us that makes us want to become self-centered. Wants us to me. What can I get? What can I get? Y'all been there. I might be there this afternoon, next week, next month, next year. I've got to check myself and do it in an honest way. And y'all, every time the weather gets bad, I think of my eldest son, y'all. He's homeless and he won't get no help. If it's raining outside and I have to go to bed at night, I wonder if he's getting rained on. And it's going to be winter soon. It's been welling up in me, and when I saw that young man in his football uniform, every young man reminds me of my sons. I can only stuff it so much, y'all. But when it's time, I've got to give out that signal that I am not all right with my relationship with my eldest son. There's nothing I can do. Nothing except for pray and accept that God is going to handle it and that He knows better than anybody here on earth what to do. I could get all the advice in the world. Y'all, I've even had to go to therapy myself just to accept that I can do nothing about it. Y'all know how stubborn and headstrong I am. I wanted to jump in there and fix it. But there's nothing to fix. I can't fix nothing. All I have to do is ask God, please give me the strength. Just every day, give me the strength to accept that there's nothing I can do about this situation. Except to continue to love Him. Continue to pray for Him. I don't know if it's mental illness. I don't know if it's anything else. He won't let me near him. You want to talk about a test? This tests me every freaking second of every day. This tests my faith in God. I have to keep praying and knowing that God's will is perfect. He's omnipotent. He's powerful. His ways are not my ways. His will in anyone's life, mine, my son's, anyone in the world, I might never know what that is. Philly Girl says the devil comes to kill, steal, and destroy. God is going to do it for all of us. Trusting. Madam August Butterfly, God is in control. Well, I'll tell you, let me just share this with you. I know that's true. I know God is in control, but I'm so unhappy over this situation with my eldest son. I mean, all I can do is look for what's going on with me. I mean, my other two sons, they don't talk to him either. But I don't sit down with my other two sons and say, how are you feeling? Because I just feel like, they're grown men now, and if they want to come to me and talk to me about it. And Wayne, he's been my anchor, my rock. He's like, you've done everything you know how to do. We've done everything. Wayne has done everything, y'all. I mean, everything. Anything and all that a person can in their own self-will do, we've done. And we have seen it demonstrated. It does not matter how much I love my son. It does not matter how much I want us to have a relationship. It doesn't matter. None of that matters in that love and all that stuff for him and wanting to do for him and all that. That is not going to fix this problem. Nothing I do is going to fix the problem. Susan Honecker says, my son was similar to your eldest. It took getting in trouble to get the help with mental illness. He's doing well now as long as he stays on his meds. I know prayer works wonders. Well, I'm going to tell you what. First of all, Susan, thank you for sharing that. I feel ashamed, y'all. I feel ashamed when I'm happy. Because my relationship with him is not there. And I feel like if I'm happy that I'm not, it's almost like I don't feel like I deserve to be happy. And if I do, that I'm somehow putting things off about feeling for him. But I have to move on with my life. I can't live in depression about this. I have to move forward. What am I going to do? Lay down and just die? Wayne doesn't deserve that. My other two children doesn't deserve that. My friends, my other people in the community, they deserve someone who's living their life to the best of their ability. If I inserted my own self-will into this situation at this point, y'all, if I did it, I'd just give up on life and everything. But I can't do that. I've got to let God's will be in this situation. God gives me all kinds of self-will to do things that we have to do in this world. He does not want us walking around like robots. But I have to continue to remind myself that, well, I can't do anything. I've accepted that. Now, I need to really, if I can accept that, I can't do nothing, then I surely I can reach toward acceptance of God's will in my life and in the life of my son. Surely I can do that. God's will makes my will look like a freaking dang drop in the bucket. Jennifer says, let yourself feel that pain, but move on and feel all your happiness too, says Jennifer. Well, that's a great point, Jennifer, because I go through these emotional little things. Y'all have seen it time and time again. I can't live in this sadness, y'all. I can't. It's not healthy. And I have stuffed this issue deep down, time and time again. I've tried not to discuss it. I'm glad let it out. I know some of y'all knew something was going on because, what, 2 or 3 years ago, y'all met him on one of the videos on the live streams. He had come by, and this was during the time that he pretended, basically, I think. He pretended that he cared about us and loved us. And then he would do some crazy stuff, and he'd have to leave. So some of y'all who've been around a while, I'm sure y'all have wondered about that. Well, I always say my 2 sons, because it wasn't that I didn't want to say my 3 sons. It was just I didn't want to be faced with a question, where is the eldest son? We haven't seen him or heard from him in a while. It was hurtful. It wasn't that I was not being transparent. It was just too hard for me to talk about. So this family of mine, this family dynamic, it starts with me in terms of acceptance. Other people are going to have to do what they're doing. But when I see this stuff in the news, of fathers turning against daughters and sons turning against their father, and all of these family members devastated over these things that happen in the world, it hurts me so bad. But it says it, y'all, in Holy Scripture, that families will turn against family members. And it's very hurtful. It is a true test of my faith over anything else on this earth. In that, if I say I accept Jesus into my heart, and that God is He's my God, He's my Creator, He's my everything. God the Father, God the Son, and God the Holy Spirit. If I really have faith in this, the test of my son and I, probably never in this life, y'all. I don't even see it happening. Some would say, KJ, you got to be optimistic. You got to hope that things will get better. Just keep praying. God, what if God's will, y'all, is that my son and I never see each other ever again? I've got to pray and ask God's help, but there is no optimism at this point in my life. So it is a test. And at this point, it does not even matter why we are estranged, because there is no answer to that. There's no reason, because if I say, well, this is the reason why me and my eldest son are estranged, and I saw what the issue was, and that issue could be fixed, it would have already been fixed. Is it, I see the issue, it can't be fixed? I don't know. Madam August Butterfly says, feeling and expressing yourself is the best clarity for the soul. Billy says, my 2 sons still don't speak to each other. It's been years. That's got to be hurtful. I've tried and tried. Nothing. One will not budge, says Billy. That's hurtful. It's so hurtful, isn't it, Billy? It breaks me. It hurts me. And it's like a overwhelming, it's almost like a physical feeling, but I know it's emotional. It hurts. It absolutely hurts. Jill Schneider says, I've accepted that God has no plan for reconciliation with my kids, but wants me to be happy anyway. It's hard. I'm not happy, but still trying. Well, Jill, that takes a lot of love in your heart to share that, and I appreciate that. I have a hard time wanting to be happy, y'all, even though I try, because I'm thinking, how can I be happy knowing this situation is like this? But I do. I really try, just like you, Jill. People are betraying their family and abandoning them. daily, says Jesus save. I guess the question is what are they abandoning them for? Family should be, however you define family, whether it's blood or not, whether it's just someone you've known for years, your family, whether you attend a church or whatever your family is, should be a safe, loving, caring place. But with that being said, even a family, the members of a family, we all fall short. We all make mistakes. We're all human. We're all doing stupid shit from time to time. Jesus Saves says, my mom has left her own mother in a nursing home, no visits. Cindy says, my family is struggling to come back together, but I don't see it in the near future. Hi, Robbie Martin. So we're going to get a test today. All of our cell phones or the TVs or the radios, it's going to blare out this signal like an Amber Alert to test the emergency management there because of disasters that could happen. I didn't see it coming, y'all. I didn't see it coming. I thought me and my sons were all going to grow, they were going to grow up. We were going to continue to have this relationship. We were so tight, y'all. I was a single parent for 7 years. The boys were all I had. They were everything that I absolutely fought for day in and day out. To pay the bills, to do everything I could to make sure they had good, proper clothing, and that they were treated by me as someone special whenever they do something at school. Or I've got all of their stuff, little pictures they drew me when they were children, baby books, all kinds of stuff. I thought we were going to grow up into this wonderful thing. And CJ and Andrew, they wonderful sons, wonderful. And my heart says that my son Quinn is a wonderful man too, that I love him. It's just all this time, y'all, has been, it's wasted, it's gone. The years of them turning into adults with their mother, we don't have that connection. CJ and Andrew are so close to me, and they love their mama, and I love them with all my heart. I love Quinn. I needed to cry, y'all, and I apologize if I'm making anyone feel uncomfortable. I sure don't mean to. I didn't expect to. And I was going to come in here today and we were going to talk about family, but I couldn't sit here and talk about this and say that family's everything in the world that God gives us without explaining the toxicity that happens, the destruction of the family. One thing I can be sure of, that God gave me a beautiful, beautiful love from Him. It's called a mother's love. A mother's love is eternal. A mother's love is so real and beautiful. It's also very painful at times. It's unconditional love, right? Thank you, Jenny Benny. Thank you, Miss Frisco Wynn. the last couple of years on his birthday, I can't talk to him. Thanksgiving, Christmas, I mean, it's one thing now I don't have my mother. Now, me being the mother I am, maybe all the mistakes I made growing up that hurt my mother's coming back to haunt me. Who knows? And Gibson says, Jesus only gives you a burden you can carry. Your son loves you. He has his memories, good or bad. My eldest hasn't, hold on just a minute, hasn't spoken to us for years. I love him regardless, and the door is open. People have very bad beliefs and do things to others according to those bad beliefs. Today is the day to heal and forgive and receive our love and support for that healing, says Awesome Sassy Sauce. I was just thinking about that, Madam August Butterfly. The prodigal son, and I don't know if that's in the cards. I can't see that. I don't know. All I can do is live in the here and now. I'm tired of beating myself up over not being the perfect mother, but I tried my damnedest. And I've also learned that no matter how much a mother wants to keep her family together, that each person in that family is their own person. They have a right to feel and think and be the way they want to be. I can only look at myself and say, am I hurting myself or someone else? And how many times in my life has it been that my motive was never to hurt someone, and yet they took it that way? I believe that, Jenny Benny. There is no perfect mother. You did your best, and your son knows that and loves you. I believe in my heart. I have to believe that, right? I have to believe my son does deep in his heart love me. I have to believe that. But make no mistake, y'all, there have been plenty of times that I absolutely had to shudder to even think. That thought would pop in there. He doesn't care about you. He doesn't love you. He doesn't respect you. Can that be so far-fetched when you have a young man telling the news media about his father kidnapping the 9-year-old girl, that he wishes he dies in prison, that he's a piece of shit? No, I'm not comparing myself to this man who did this. What I'm saying is there are extremes. And Jenny Benny says, he's in a bad place right now, my son. He's been in a bad place for the last few years. I never saw him again with that connection as a mother and son after his 11th grade of school. It was like there was this barrier there. It wasn't me. It was just, you know how you can look at someone you love and care about and you almost don't recognize them? That's a shameful place to feel as a mother. It's hard explaining. One of these days, I'm going to be in heaven with my mother and other family members that's gone on to meet the Lord. And one of these days, my son, because I know he accepted Jesus into his heart. He was baptized. Andrew and CJ accepted Jesus in their heart and were baptized. I'm telling y'all, we're all going to be together one day. We're not going to have to worry about the freaking natural freaking disasters of this freaked out world. I am not going to let the negativity of all this that's going on in this world keep me from some inner peace that only God gives. I've got to try. I've got to have faith. Maggie Sue says, I'm estranged from my oldest daughter. At least I know she has a roof over her head and food. This proves to me yet again, be thankful for your own problems because others have it worse. And Gibson says, I still make excuses for why we don't speak. I feel ashamed sometimes. And Gibson, I could have said the same exact thing and meant it. It's where I'm at. I'm going to do it, y'all, and I apologize that I went down this road today. But I had to. I had to, for not only just to be able to stop stuffing it, but just to air it out. It makes me feel better. And y'all, there's nothing wrong with crying. Crying is very healing, even when you're so sad. Those tears wash away all of that hurt and anxiety, if only for a little bit. Olive Heatley says, don't let the negative in. And I'm going to do my best, y'all. But sometimes that negativity comes in and it gets stuffed. And I got to get it out. I'm going to do my best. I'm going to do my very best, y'all. But make no mistake, y'all. I'm a pushover. I'm so emotionally sensitive. And I know that sometimes when I acknowledge my weaknesses, when the acknowledgement of my weaknesses are there, it gives me strength to acknowledge my weaknesses, acknowledge my tears, acknowledge my hurts, acknowledge my fear that I've got to get away from me. And the only way that I can get that fear away from me is what, y'all? Love. Love. Love casts out fear. Having emotions and to be sincere, says Jesus save. Well, I'll tell you what Jesus saves, which is a pretty nice YouTube name there. I really have to check myself on whether that's my flesh or my spirit. That's a whole different ball game. I just appreciate all of y'all. I appreciate y'all letting me be who I am. In a world such as this, to be who you are, to learn who you are every day of your life, because I've got to learn this. I'm evolving. I'm learning. But I definitely don't want to be like anyone else. I could choose that. I could act like other people. Just want to be me. Just want to be me. And I have been blessed with a lot of folk on here that are just you and you alone. You're good people. Thank you so much for hearing me out. Don't worry about me, and I won't worry about you, because guess what? You are the only you you're ever going to be, and I'm the only me I'm going to be. And good, whether it's good or bad going on in our life, we're going to make it through. I love you all. Thank y'all for letting me get this out. Have a great Wednesday when that signal comes in. Talk, on your cell phone or your radio or your television. If you feel so inclined, say a prayer for the families of this world. The families of this world produce love. And if the family is split or destroyed or toxic, that love can't come through. Y'all have a great day. We'll get back together soon. And keep on looking.